You hear the term play-based learning, and you might picture something, well, a little chaotic. But what if I told you it's actually one of the most intentional, scientifically backed ways to approach early education? Let's pull back the curtain and look at the surprising structure behind all that spontaneity. And that brings us to the big question, right? If play is supposed to be spontaneous and led by the child, how in the world do you build a curriculum around it? It feels like a total contradiction, trying to make a structured plan for something that's, famous for being unstructured. Well, the secret is to completely rethink what a plan even is. We're not talking about a rigid, pre-written script that everyone has to follow. Think of it more like a journey that the teachers, the kids, and even their families all build together, one discovery at a time. Okay, so to really get this, we need to have a solid definition. A curriculum model isn't just a binder full of activities. It's a framework. It's a way of thinking, a way to organize experiences for kids that's actually grounded in real, solid theories about how they learn and grow. It's like having a map, but it doesn't tell you exactly which path to take. And get this, there isn't just one map. There are a bunch of well-established models, and they all have their own unique philosophy. So let's look at two of the big ones to see just how different these educational journeys can be. First up, the Montessori approach. What's so fascinating here is the language itself. Dr. Maria Montessori called what children do work, not play, because she wanted to emphasize just how important it is. The classroom is this carefully prepared environment filled with materials that let kids correct their own mistakes. And the teacher? They're more of a guide, stepping back to allow for these long, uninterrupted blocks of time so kids can really, truly focus at their own pace. Now for a completely different vibe, the Reggio Emilia approach. This one, born in Italy, starts from this powerful idea that kids are already competent and capable researchers. Here, learning happens through these big, long-term projects that are sparked by what the kids are interested in. A key idea here is that the environment is the third teacher, a space that's designed to make you curious, and collaboration is absolutely everything. Okay, so when you put them side by side like this, the differences just pop. You can see the focus is totally different. Montessori is all about individual learning, while Reggio Emilia is built on relationships and teamwork. And look at the teacher's role. It shifts from a guide who sets up the environment to a co-learner, someone who is right there researching alongside the kids. Both value the classroom for sure, but one is about order and self-correction, while the other is all about inspiration. So, these models look pretty different on the surface, don't they? But underneath it all, they share this powerful common thread. They both see curriculum not as a thing, but as a living, breathing process. And this right here is the heart of it all. The best, most effective curriculum for young kids isn't something that's set in stone. It's dynamic. It has to be. It pivots and adapts, responding to the ideas and interests that pop up in the moment. It's less about checking off a list and more about using a moment of curiosity as a launchpad for some really deep, meaningful learning. I mean, listen to this perfect real-world example. A class discovers a duck nest on the playground. Suddenly, that nest is the curriculum. The kids are counting the days, they're researching how to protect the eggs, they're creating stories. Nobody could have possibly planned for that back in August. But that one little discovery sparked this huge, weeks-long investigation, all from one moment. This leads us to this really cool idea of a co-constructed curriculum. See, it's not just the teacher's plan being handed down, it's built together, like a team project. Teachers are observing, kids are sharing what they're into, and families are bringing in their own knowledge and experiences. Everyone gets a say in where the learning journey goes. Now, this might sound a little messy, but there is a structure to it. A great example is the project approach cycle. It all starts with the teacher just observing. Then they brainstorm ideas with the kids. From there, they gather resources, and the kids just dive in, exploring and coming up with their own questions. The key part? They document everything as it happens. And finally, everyone looks back and reflects. It's this constant, responsive loop. So, if the plan is always changing, how do teachers actually document all this and make sure real learning is happening? Well, this is where observation becomes an art form. And that's a great question, because you can't just rely on your memory. You've got to have a system for catching all these little moments of discovery and then turning them into real intentional next steps. So check out this brilliant tool. It's called a plan of possibilities. Instead of writing a rigid lesson, the teacher just asks a question, like what's going to happen when the toddlers find these squeeze bottles? Then they watch. They see one toddler struggling, another one helping him out, and a couple others using them in a pretend game. But here's the magic, the interpretation. The teacher connects those actions to actual developmental skills, fine motor, social skills, symbolic play. And that interpretation is what tells them what to offer next. It's amazing. All right, so we've seen the models and the methods, but this is all for a much bigger reason. Let's talk about why this whole approach is so critical for building the kinds of skills kids actually need, like creativity and being able to solve problems on the fly. So really, when you boil it all down, this approach completely reframes our whole idea of what a curriculum is. It's not some pre-written script that gets delivered to kids. It's a dynamic process that's built with them, and it views every plan as just a starting point for inquiry. And that completely changes the teacher's job. They're no longer just the person with all the information. Their new role is to be a master observer, to know exactly when to offer a new material or ask the right question, to create possibilities that let kids go deeper and deeper in their research and follow their own curiosity. Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. If the real goal of education isn't about getting to the right answer, but about learning how to ask a better, deeper question, then how much does that change our whole idea of what schools should be?